Hey Orange family, join Coach Dan, Coach Charlie, and yours truly for this week's Coach Roundtable, where we'll be answering some of your questions from our social medias, but also giving you some more tips and tricks on staying on track.
Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Coaches Roundtable. Coach Dan here with Coach Izzy and Coach Charlie, and we're back again to go over some new topics. So thank you very much, both of you, for joining in today. We had a few questions posted on Facebook that we're going to try and dive into, and then finish off with some other things, hopefully, that will add some value based off our conversation previously around motivation. So first thing we're going to talk about a little bit today is acupuncture mats or back pain. So we had a question asking about acupuncture mats, which usually sort of related into either back pain or just discomfort or ways of treating that. So I just thought we'd open things up by talking a little bit about that. I think Sarah Barnes asked the question, and Izzy, you said that you've used one before. So I just wondered if you could maybe talk a little bit about what it is and the benefits that may come from that.
Okay. So acupuncture mats are very much what they sound like. They are kind of a mat, smaller than a yoga mat, and they've got lots of little, quite sharp plastic kind of pins on them. The way they're set up, obviously they don't puncture you like an acupuncture needle would, but what they work in a similar sort of way. So they work with the pressure point. So for instance, they can be used, you can stand on them, you can lie on them, you can use them in lots of different ways. Quite good to use them with standing, because of the fact we've obviously got a lot of pressure points in our feet. For instance, things like reflexology work with those sort of pressure points. So it's a similar sort of thing where it's kind of channeling that through, and it can help with a lot of different ailments throughout the entire body. So yeah, they are fantastic. I've used one before. I've used to do meditation on it and also yoga, and I found it did really help with some aches and niggles that I had. That obviously it kind of complemented what I was doing to help with those things as well. So yeah, I do think they're quite good piece of equipment.
Cool. I mean, I think there's quite a few people out there have mentioned before that they have discomforts or pains or aches and niggles that they are dealing with, and there are like different strategies that people will use to try and help themselves out. Like I've not used one, but maybe sometimes, for example, I have used foam rollers or sort of massage balls, different types of self-massage equipment. At least for me, I get that sort of like short-term benefit where I'm going to feel a little bit better for right before I train, or sometimes people like to use them after they train for recovery. But they can't. I know some people can say they can be helpful.
Yeah, I know. Pilates balls, another kind of similar one, which I know them as Pilates balls. They're like the little small balls that have spikes all over them. Mm-hmm. They're quite soft, but a similar thing where you kind of get it to the point and it works with the pressure points again. So yeah, I think those sort of tools are quite nice, aren't they? Foam rollers, all the rest of it that you mentioned, really nice for after workouts.
Yeah, and then just kind of talking about like other things people might be able to do to work around their pains and discomforts. Obviously, one of the things you could do is potentially there could be some exercises or exercise interventions that they could follow. So I think Coach Lindsay posted about this before in the past, like a few different stretches and exercises to help deal with that. I don't know if either of you have any experience either using these as yourself or sort of with other people. You guys have any exercises or stretches that you found helpful in the past?
Yeah, there's some nice routines that we've done in some of the workouts here at the studio that I felt were really nice way to kind of finish off the workout, or really targeted areas that I was looking to get more flexible on or just relieve some tension. I suppose one of the main things is consistency when it comes to using exercises to aid aid those imbalances, because a lot of people, you know, I'm bad for doing it. I'll pay for a physio appointment, I'll go, they'll give me the exercises and I'll do them for like a week, and then I'll be like, it's not working, I'll just stop. So it's about booking that time in with yourself to keep it consistent, and there is evidence that it does work as long as you keep it up, because it's about strengthening those, you know, where you have got those imbalances. It does take time. You know, when we think about building muscle in the studio or in the gym, it takes months and months. So unfortunately, I don't think there is a quick fix, but as long as you stick to it, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, I agree very much. I think sometimes we do want that sort of instant gratification, and it's something that's been built up over a long period of time, so we can't necessarily expect to just, you know, change it that quickly as well. So I think that's a very good point of being sort of consistent and disciplined with it. Is there, if you had any other thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. What I was going to say as well, this is something that, you know, I've spoken to people about countless times in the past, that often will experience, you know, that kind of lower back pain, or, you know, back pain in general, and immediately, obviously, it's back pain, so we think, my back, what's going on? But it's kind of that whole all-rounder where, you know, if you think about, especially like your lower back, what's the opposite side of that? That's your abdominal muscles, it's your core, you know, then you've got your pelvis as well. So if your hips aren't sitting in the right place, if you've got a pelvis tilted back or tilted forwards, that's going to affect kind of your back as well. So I always say to people, you know, as well as strengthening our backs and elongating those muscles, you know, stretching them out properly, it's also really good to think about how much we're strengthening our core muscles and like our pelvic floor muscles and all of those little stabilizers we have around that region, because if any of those have a weakness, it could highlight a pain in a different area. So it's good to kind of get that all-rounder.
Yeah, I think what we can put together, we started the Tuesday tip videos. Dan did the first one on posture, but one thing that we neglect probably is really targeted warm-ups. You know, particularly a lot of people suffer from kind of lazy glutes. They don't wake up and you know, if you think about hip bridge, a lot of that tension then goes onto our lower back if our glutes aren't doing the work. So maybe we can demo really targeted warm-ups to wake up the glutes, wake up the core, and then follow up with some stretches for kind of before and after, because we do a little bit, we do the 5 minutes and the bit at the end, but it's also nice to extend that when we can, before and after.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think as well, I think having that mindfulness of the situation would be really good as well. So I think sometimes we might take for granted. I'm sure, like, Charlie, if I ask you to do a certain exercise, I might not even have to tell you to engage your core or your glutes or something, and you're just going to automatically do it. Like, automatically you're going to feel it there straight away, because there's, you know, you've been doing it for a while and now it's become almost second nature. But I think if people, for example, aren't feeling it where we're saying, oh, this is going to work, maybe have that little conversation afterwards of, hang on, you know, I did that and all I did was feel it in my back. All I did was feel that in my quads. And maybe, you know, there's a little bit extra work that needs to be done there, like you said, either at the beginning, at the end, or talking to sort of reap the most benefits out of those exercises. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and even for me, when I'm on round 3, I forget. You just do what you get lazy because you get tired. So when you get fatigued, it's even more important.
Yeah, that's why you'll hear us coaches saying, you know, you get into the 3rd round, guys. Remember, pull that belly button in, engage that core, because it is, as we get fatigued, as Coach Charlie said, it just starts slipping.
Yeah, your body kind of goes for the path of least resistance. So if there's an easier way to do that exercise, which means kind of like flopping a little bit, then of course your body's just gonna like just give in to gravity and make its life easier. But if that means that something else has got to take more of the load, it's got to put up with that sloppy technique, and then there's going to be some repercussions for it. So like you said, yeah, just really being mindful of it towards the end, especially. You don't want to be not being mindful of those positions. And that kind of, I was going to talk a little bit about that as well, so just like position or posture. Like I said, we made a quick video the other day. But again, just to highlight just that importance, both in exercise and throughout the day. As Charlie mentioned, like if you have an issue, you can't expect to fix something really, really quickly if then you spend the rest of your day in like a really sort of negative posture for that ailment that you're dealing with. I believe the word posture kind of stems from the word position, so it's really about sort of literally the position you're putting your body in and how long you're spending in those positions, especially if it's under some sort of load, if you're holding something that's actually actively pulling you into that. So yeah, just all those sort of things that we keep saying day in, day out. You know, keep doing them, and then if you're not sure what they mean, if you need extra help, always please reach out, and you know, hopefully we can either help you or point you in the right direction of some other, you know, good things for you to look into.
Yeah, it could be a lot of people at new office setups at home. They probably haven't got their proper office chair. Really important because, like you were saying, Dan, you're sitting there. You know, I'm sitting on a chair working at my desk, but it's not an office chair. It's not designed to improve your posture. So definitely investing in that, or seeing if you can use the one that's sat at work or whatever your situation is, might just help on those 8 hours, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing pretty much. It's kind of in the industry, tech neck is what it's called to us, but you guys will know it as kind of that feeling when your neck's literally like jutting forward, and it's such a common thing in like our society today because we're all, you know, we're on our phones, we're on our desktops, and our neck's just constantly being jutted forwards. So yeah, just realigning and resetting things. And like Dan said, you know, asking us as well if you're not too sure, because I know, you know, I remember a day when someone said engage a core when I was younger, and I was like, I think I am, like how do I know? Like, so, you know, things like when we say like, you know, relax your shoulder good or set your shoulder good, or if that is like a foreign language to you, just ask us, because we can kind of talk you through what that really means.
Yep, definitely. So hopefully we'll post some more resources that will be helpful tackling those issues. Moving on, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a question we had from Holly Allen, talking about training now that she's back to work, but the studio still isn't open, and I think she's struggling a little bit to fit in OTF workouts around her work schedule because she's getting home late. And obviously we're still not open yet. So just wondered if you guys had any sort of reaction to that or any thoughts.
Yeah, I had a couple of thoughts. One is you don't have to do a whole workout. Maybe find one of the weekly challenges. It takes you maybe 10 minutes of your day. Maybe you can do it once before work, once after, see which one, you know, see if you can get some improvements. That's then 20 minutes. If you can then go and do some steps in your lunch break, you are doing something. It's better to do something than do nothing. And then if you have got a little bit more time to do the workout, but find yourself coming home and going, I don't really feel like it. You know, maybe have someone accountable, someone you know from the studio that might be doing the same, or have those kind of work hours now affecting their time to exercise, and be like, oh, if you do it, I'll do it. And we've seen a lot of people getting together, which is amazing, on the Facebook groups, making running clubs, and that kind of accountability really helps you just get up and go. So they're my 2 tips for you, Holly. And
awesome. 2 tips.
Yeah, and I was going to say something pretty similar as well about, you know, something is better than nothing. So, you know, as we said kind of in the last video, it's good to plan, but it's also good to be flexible with that. So, you know, plan around your schedule and plan what you'd like to do, you know, in the best situation. But when it comes to that day, like Charlie was saying, you know, if you don't feel like it, you know, do a 10-minute challenge, or just do something that's going to get you moving, because you know, like once you finish it, you're going to feel so much better than when you started it. So, you know, something better than nothing, always a good tip.
Yeah, I'll also say as well, I do the 7 a.m. class on Tuesdays. So I've seen you up there that early before. So if you want to get in 7 a.m., we still do it live, if you can make it before work. But yeah, everybody's situation is going to be different. So yeah, it's going to be tough. And I think those are a few good things to think about when you're trying to fit things in. I think there's a bit of a second part to that question, which was so about how to pair up cardio with weights or weight training. So obviously, I know a lot of time at OTF we try to have a combination of both. But if somebody maybe doesn't feel they have the time to do a whole workout, or they for whatever reason they are not doing one of the OTF workouts, I wondered if you guys had any strategies about how you would pair cardio with weights. If you recommend doing it on the same day, different days. Your sort of thoughts and feelings on that.
I was going to say on that one is I'm quite a big fan of efficiency. I like to be efficient in everything I do. So I really enjoy interval training because that way I feel, I'm blending those two things together. So I'll be doing my weight training, but I'll do it in such a manner, for instance, if you try yesterday's class, what date would that have been? The 18th. There was a fantastic interval training section in there.
That was really good.
Yeah, like there was some really good blocks this week for this sort of training. So have a look at any of this week's workouts. I know Wednesday as well that I coached had a really good interval training section in it. So, there's ways of kind of blending those things together and then not feeling like you're choosing this or that, or having to, say if you're tired, you're not going to feel like, oh, I've got all of this to do. It's just, you're going to get it all done in one go. So that would be my tip for that one.
And it really depends on your individual goal as well, I think, and what you want out of your life and your body and what you want it to be able to do. If you want to be flexible and able to do cardio and weights, just do them together. Like Izzy said, it's efficient and it means that you're practicing both of those. If you want to build a load of muscle and you're not too bothered about how fast you can run a mile, then just do your weights, or the polar opposite of that, go start running for longer and the weight. I still definitely recommend doing weights. You just don't have to go as heavy. You can work in a higher rep range and kind of do more endurance based work. So yeah, it's about asking yourself how you want to live your life and how you want your body to respond to that, I guess.
Definitely. I think obviously having your goals are really important. Having that goal to start from and then reverse engineering from there, that should hopefully help to answer some of your questions. I was working with a coach before, and he's an American guy. He had a phrase which was, give them what they don't get, which basically was sort of, he would look at the amount of time somebody spent doing something and maybe think, okay, well, this person already does a lot of running. So now I've got them for an hour. I'm not going to make them run again. I'm going to give them like the strength training that they've been missing. Or it might be somebody else might be really strong, like huge power lifter, but maybe they're not getting enough mobility work. Maybe they're not getting enough cardio. So maybe sort of plug in those gaps. So if you're in a situation where there are 2 classes you can do in the week, let's say, and you want to train 4 times a week, and you look at those, because I believe Kat's sort of posting to say, oh, it's upper body today, or it's lower body, or it's core and cardio focused. Okay, well, I can do Tuesdays and it's a big upper body focus, and I can do Fridays and it's a big core focus. Well, maybe I'm missing some lower body. So maybe if you do have the other day that you're going to take on by yourself, then maybe I will, you'll do a little bit of some lower body leg training that whatever, based on what equipment you have around, or you go back to one of our workouts posted previously and do it offline. Not live, just off YouTube. So maybe as well, just having that idea of what am I not getting, and focusing on plugging that gap a little bit.
Perfect. Totally.
Cool. And then finally, I just wanted to wrap up a little bit with a little bit of talk, following on from our talk before about motivation. Just we had some great feedback about that and from people in general. just wondered if we had any more tips, just sort of keeping on track and keeping that momentum going. I think, Izzy, you had a few things you wanted to kind of add to the conversation.
Yeah. So, kind of leading on from what we were saying on the last session, is firstly just, that goal side of things. Obviously, breaking it down is kind of the most achievable way to stay on track. So, within us coaches, we always talk about smart goals with you. Smart goals, I know we've broken it down before, but stands for specific things. So, for instance, it's specific, S. M is measurable. A is achievable. Then we've got R, which is realistic, and then T, which is timely. So that's why we call it a SMART goal. It's broken down into those sections so that we can break it down properly and understand where we're going through that journey. So by doing that alone, just starting at the end and working your way back, I think Dan mentioned that last time, like, working out where it is you want to be, how far away that is, how long you're giving yourself to do that in, and then working your way back, doing it that way and breaking it down into sort of weekly chunks, then you know where you're at in that process and whether you are staying on track with it.
You said about photos as well, right?
Yeah, that was another thing. So a big thing for me is, I know we always talk about, one good thing is, for instance, if you've got an item of clothing that, you used to fit in and you'd like to be back in, or, you used to be musclier in it and you want to look like that again, or whatever it is, and how that piece of clothing fit you, that's a good way. But for me, it's always photos. So I will do progression pics every single week, no matter what, because even though I know that I'm progressing and all the rest of it, when you see those photos lined up next to each other and you see that week on week change, that's what really just always keeps me spurred on and keeps me on track. So that was something I was going to just say, is a great tip for keeping you motivated and on track.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched the video, go watch it.
Definitely. All right, guys, cool. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining in. I hope you guys watching the video found it helpful, and we'll see you all again next time.